What's up, everybody? It is March 9th, 2018, and I'd like to welcome you to episode 3 of the Tech Audit TV podcast. My name is Brandon Hassler, and with me is someone who has beat me up multiple times throughout my life, my older brother, Matt Hassler. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. It was always out of love.
That's what I assumed. Made me a better man.
Good.
We are recording here at the Stone Shiba studio located in the one and only downtown Provo, Utah. And we've got a number of things to cover today. Just a quick recap for you listeners. This is our first episode ever being recorded for YouTube. So welcome all of you on YouTube. Hopefully the atmosphere here will slowly improve. There's actually a really cool view here, but for lighting purposes, it would be pretty annoying for you guys, but look forward to that in future episodes. We're also going to be going over, we have a new segment, App of the Week. This time we got a few apps, a lot of tiebreakers here, but Matt's going to bring us an App of the Week. He's also got story time with Matt about his journey losing and finding his Pixel Buds. That's what they're called, right? Pixel Buds?
Pixel Buds.
We're also talking about the new Fitbit watch coming out this year with some of the features that we can anticipate. A new study about Android versus iPhone loyalty. Which user base has more loyalty? You may be surprised. And some new updates to Android P, which is Android's new operating system that will come out to the public, I believe, in Q3. It is currently available to developers or really anyone who signs up for Android beta, but would not recommend downloading it as of yet unless you are truly a developer or are fine with glitchy problems happening every 5 minutes.
I can say from experience, I used to always download it right away, and it would cause me
a lot of pain.
All sorts of problems. It was so fun, but
yeah, it's how I was. It's fun for a day, and then you start to get stuff done, and not a good idea to download it on your primary device. But there's one update, there's one feature within this Android P that just really angers me. We'll save this for the end. So let's go ahead and get into the show. Let's start with the App of the Week. Or I should say, in this case, apps.
Oh, you want to go App of the Week right off the bat?
Let's go right off the bat.
Let's do it.
Apps of the Week.
Okay, so since this was our first week doing this, it was tough because I have so many I wanted to do, and I had to think about it. I had to pray about it. I had to pray in multiple languages and to multiple gods. I'm not kidding. I didn't do that, but maybe I did. What I decided to go with was an oldie but a goodie. I decided if I'm going to do an App of the Week, and it's my first App of the Week, it's got to be one I use a ton, and it's got to be fun. And so I went with Clash Royale.
It's a good one.
So our users can see out there, that is Clash Royale.
That's a good picture.
Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So first and foremost, I'm embarrassed by my 3912 trophies. I'm normally somewhere around 4,400, but I tried out a new deck. You've heard of Clash of Clans. Everybody's heard of Clash of Clans.
Yep.
Clash Royale is 1 million times better than Clash of Clans, and I'm going to give you the pros and cons of it, and then I'm going to invite you to do something. So if you like PvP games, multiplayer games, you're going to love this game. It's online. It's a verse game. You're always playing somebody. And what really makes or breaks a game like that is, one, obviously the gameplay itself, and this gameplay is amazing. But two, the community. How quick can you get a game to load? There's tons of games. I like to play ARMS on the Nintendo Switch a lot, but there's not a good community. So sometimes it can take you 10 minutes to get a game. You just got to sit there waiting. Clash Royale's community is so big that you get a game instantly. No matter if you don't want to spend a dime on this game, you can have a blast playing it still. It is a loot chest game, which I have my own qualms with those. Everybody does. But what I love about this one in particular is if you don't want to ever spend a dime on it, you can still have a blast playing this game. If you want to compete with the best in the world, you're going to spend quite a bit of money, but they do 50% off sales all the time. Anyway, it's my favorite mobile game I've ever played. I play it way more than I should admit. My gamer tag is Mr. Miyagi. So for those listening, I spell it Mister, Miaggi, and I use that tag usually for everything. So if you ever see a Mr. Miyagi spelled that way, that's me, and I'm happy to play you. I'm not an angry gamer. I lose graciously. But also, can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay, so you'll notice I have just, before we started today, started a brand new clan called the Stone Shiba, and I'm currently the only member of it. I've got a couple invites out to people, but this is going to be the Stone Shiba's clan. So this little building we have, which you can't see it right now, but it's only about 10 by 10 feet. This is tiny. We're right on a main road, though. It's gonna be a really fun project. We're gonna have musicians. We're doing podcasts, obviously, videos, but we wanted to invite the Tech Audit TV fan base, our family, the Tech Audit TV family. We want them to be a part of this brand new clan.
Oh yeah.
So what you need to do is you go on there, start the game, free to start. Like I said, you don't ever have to pay if you don't want to, and you'll have fun even if you don't. And then find the Stone Shiba. Just watch that, you'll see it. And then you'll have to request to be a member and just specifically put on there, Matt, you invited me on Tech Audit TV, and you'll be a member, and I will even upgrade you to being an elder instantly.
Nice.
If you are a Tech Audit TV fan who goes on. So
love it.
Clash Royale, you can't go wrong with it. It's one of the highest grossing games. Not as high grossing as Clash of Clans, but man, it's a fun game.
All right. So we've got our game of the week there.
Okay.
Were there any other apps?
So we'll get better at the apps of the week, but we want to come up with a formula. So I'd love to hear from everybody. If you guys will email Brandon or put some comments on the video letting us know what your preferred format is. If ours sucks, I want to do a game every week. I'd love to highlight games that you guys play, because it's not fair to have it be a one-way thing. So let us know if there's games you guys play that you love. Mostly Android and iOS, preferably both. It could even be Switch, Xbox, whatever. But let's stick with apps if we can, because it's an app thing. And then we want to do some educational. We want to do productivity apps, and then we want to do productivity / visuals, like camera type things that help you. If you want to create podcasts, you want to create images easily, and you don't want to sit on your PC all day to do it. We want to be able to find the best apps for those things. So we'll go over some of those. And so the two other apps we're going to do real quick before we jump out of this segment is Google Primer, which is on Android and iOS. And tell me what you know about it, because you'd mentioned when I brought this up to Brandon, he mentioned he'd heard of it. So what did you know about it beforehand?
I just heard that Google is working on a pretty cool project similar to Udemy, but it seems like it's just free. So it's a ton of courses around a huge array of topics that whether it's business, whether it's art, design, how to increase your social skills. It seemed like there's a lot of different options, and it was just kind of their way, like, just to build this huge audience of learners who just want to learn new skills. You can just pick and start going through courses. I think the ultimate goal is for them to upsell to bigger packages, whether it's like code schools or different coaches and whatnot that Google partners with. But it's free to use from what I've heard, and I've tested out just. You mentioned it before the show, and it seemed pretty cool. My favorite feature, I think, was just how you kind of learn through swiping cards. Mm-hmm. Whereas a lot of online courses, it's either very long videos or it's a lot of text, and that can seem boring or intimidating. And breaking that up into cards just makes if you kind of build momentum as you're just going through the lesson. So that was my quick 10-second hands-on approach. I'm not sure if you have.
And you're aware of schools that have been approached. So it's not just Google putting out the content. There's people who Google is getting to create content on there. Also, we'll look into this. Anyone who knows anything about this, I'd be interested. If any of our listeners are aware of any specific courses on there, but I'll hold that up there for the camera there. But for those listening, it's got everything: business planning, selling, brand building, customer engagement, website, email marketing, social media, business management. A lot of them made by Google, a lot of them made by individuals who are experts. And I don't know, like I said, right off the bat, it's a really slick app. I know it's been around for a few years, but when I checked it out a few years ago, it was pretty bare bones. But today, when I started looking at it, it had quite a bit of content on it, and I'm kind of excited to dive into it. It might suck. I don't know. But we'll follow up and let you guys know if it does. And I'm curious what other people's experiences have been with it.
Love it. So that's Google Primer.
Okay, and then last app of the week, and then Brandon's got some good stuff for us. Is Vlogit. VLOGIT. And this is another one that I believe is iOS. I know for sure it's Android. I believe it's iOS and Android. And let me just pull their... I should have been a little more prepared here. I want to give their exact description. So this is, I believe to find this, you've got to go to the section... What's that section called for like new apps?
Featured?
No, it's not featured. They're like beta. They have an early access. There's an early access section, and I know that iOS has this also. I don't know if they call it early access, but in the Play Store, it's early access. So Vlogit is a free video editor made for vloggers. First video editing app designed for YouTubers and vloggers with music effects, and we quick went through it, and it basically looks like it is what YouTube Creator Studio used to be. They used to have an app where you could make and edit and upload your videos all from the app, and then that went away, and this looks to be a replacement for it. So again, it's called Vlogit, VLOGIT, and it looks to be an all-in-one, fairly robust from what I can see, free. Might have some upgrades, although I didn't see anything specifically, but you're able to take your video from your phone, edit it, add special effects. It even has like open source music that you can add in there, that you can clip in, transitions. The claim is it's an all-in-one, run your YouTube channel from your phone. So what do we want to do? If somebody makes an amazing video, we'll highlight their video.
Sure.
Should we do that?
Someone makes an amazing video using Vlogit. Send it over our way.
What if it's not amazing? Will we still do it?
Well, then maybe not. Maybe not. Only the best for Tech Audit TV.
I feel like if one of our listeners even took the time to make a crappy video, maybe we won't highlight it, but we'll mention it. Sure.
We'll see how the video goes. Well, cool. So that's Vlogit, and then we had Google. What was it called?
Primer.
Google Primer, and then not Clash of Clans, but Clash Royale.
Clash Royale.
I will link to those apps. You can download those. If you're watching on YouTube, that'll be in the description, so you can easily find those.
And join our clan.
Join the clan, the Stone Shiba, right?
Stone Shiba.
Love it. All right, there we have it. The apps of the week for this week. Let's hop into some tech news here. This one was of interest to me, primarily because I own a Fitbit, and Fitbit's obviously probably the biggest watch in the fitness space. Well, yeah, I guess you could say Garmin and Timex are up there, but they're very well known, obviously. And so I own the Fitbit Ionic, which you can see if you're watching here on YouTube. This is Fitbit's newest watch, and this is their first watch after they acquired Pebble. Pebble had kind of a smart fitness watch, so they took a lot of features from Pebble, and this is kind of Fitbit's approach at a fitness watch that's also a smart watch. And the big complaint, especially from females, is that it's very masculine looking. This isn't the most fashionable watch compared to something like the Apple Watch. I was about to say the iWatch, but the Apple Watch obviously is a very beautiful looking watch, and obviously there's a lot of LG, and there's a lot of other Android makers. Samsung has their own watches, which are arguably better looking watches. Obviously, I got this because it was kind of a fitness first type thing. Yes, you get calls, you get call notifications, text notifications, along with whatever apps. I have all those turned off actually, because really what I wanted was a smartwatch that had GPS built into it, so I could just go for a run without my phone and track the whole thing, not be distracted by anything. And that was really nice, which a lot of smartwatches, they have GPS, but you have to have your phone nearby and then it records. This one, you can actually leave your phone and it will track everything. So they have a new watch, which is apparently going to be called the Fitbit Versa. So it's unclear what line this will be in. Like, will this be part of the Ionic series? Will this be part of the Fitbit Blaze series? It seems like this is going to be more in line with kind of a Fitbit Ionic follow-up. But the thing is, it's actually going to be cheaper. So if you look at it, I mean, I can't show it here, but if you type in Fitbit Versa online.
Why can't you show it?
Well, I mean,
not allowed to. Oh,
I don't know how to show it clearly.
I wasn't sure if they were like, I was like, do you have undercover images or something?
I've got exclusive leaks here.
If it's what I'm looking at, it looks more like the iWatch.
Yeah, it's a little bit more. It's more round. The Fitbit Ionic is a very square watch, very comfortable, but it's not. Yeah, like I said, it's not.
I think that's a good look. I actually think that's as good looking as an Apple Watch, but I agree if it doesn't have like rose gold and options and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely not as masculine, or it definitely is more masculine than the iWatch. It is a little thicker and wider than the Apple Watch, which again, it depends on why you're buying it. But a lot of women were kind of turned off by the Fitbit Ionic because it wasn't something that they would like to wear outside of exercising. So this, I think, was a big attempt to bring in a bigger appeal, and it'll also be cheaper. It'll be about the estimate is that the watch will be sold for between $200 and $250. The Fitbit Ionic is a $300 watch. The big thing is that the Fitbit Versa will not, this has been confirmed by Fitbit, it will not have built-in GPS, which is kind of lame. It'll have pretty much all the other features, sleep tracking, all that stuff. But no GPS, but it is cheaper. So there's that. But yeah, why not?
That many people that want a fitness watch that doesn't.
Well, most watches,
I guess if you just go to the gym.
Yeah, most watches don't have built-in GPS.
But see, I feel like I would never buy a fitness watch that didn't have it. But I can see, I guess a lot of people exclusively use a treadmill.
Yeah,
for running.
Treadmill or
would
casually
that be
running. They
would
run
you
with their
say
phones.
that's the audience, is those
They're
people?
Probably, yeah. I mean, a lot of hardcore runners and stuff would go after, a Garmin watch or a Timex type stuff where, it's not a pretty smartwatch, but it's awesome at tracking stuff. So, yeah.
Well, that's an interesting thing to leave out of a fitness watch.
Yeah, but it is cheaper. So, I don't know. I don't know what the play is here, but I think really it's an attempt to have a smartwatch from Fitbit that appeals to not just men, but women as well. So we'll see how that does. Thought that was kind of interesting. And then another story here I saw. This one I think I saw late last night, or maybe it was this morning, but this was on TechCrunch, comparing iOS and Android in terms of smartphone loyalty. Which group has a more loyal audience? Who do you think wins out in loyalty?
Well, if I had to guess, see, I always wonder on these things because I wonder who is this worldwide?
This is that's a good question. We are looking at US customers,
so US only,
who stay with their operating system.
Apple seems like the obvious choice.
So when they upgraded their phone in 2017, did they stay with iPhone? Did they stay with Android? That's what this is based on. That's what this report is based on. Who had the better loyalty rates?
I'm going to say Android, because I feel like Android's improved so much. They probably didn't lose a lot of people, but because they've improved so much, Apple probably lost a bigger chunk of their audience. So I'm going to go with, my gut feeling was Apple instantly, but I'm going to go with Android.
I think a lot of people would say Apple, but in this case, this study found that Android actually had a better loyalty rate. So the study showed that 91% of Android users stayed with Android, which is a huge number in 2017 when upgrading their phone, compared to 86% of Apple users stayed with an Apple device, iPhone. So obviously both still high. I mean, you're talking 91 and 86%. So one thing the last time Apple led in loyalty was, what year do you think?
The last time they led in loyalty, using the same...
Based off the same metrics. What year was it? I'm always putting you on the spot with these trivia questions.
I'm trying to think, because the iPhone 6, which I thought was a great looking phone, apparently a lot of people didn't. The iPhone 5, what year was that? So I'm going to go 2014.
You're close. 2013.
Wow.
Is when iPhone users were found to be more loyal than Android users. But the article just points out how Android is technically bigger, but the bigger story is that it's very clear that users are now picking one phone, they learn it, they invest in the apps, they invest in the storage, and they're sticking with it. And so this is the point in time where Apple and Google really need to figure out how do we sell more products to this loyal group, which I think Apple's been pretty good at least a lot longer than Google. And Google, I think, is now just starting to get into this game of trying to build their own ecosystem that Apple has. So that was kind of interesting how...
Let me give you a quick theory I have. So
we love theories.
So I don't know how many of the listeners, I don't know if we mentioned this, I own restaurants. It's what I do for a living. I have 5
DP cheesesteaks. If you see it here on YouTube,
there you go,
repping the swag.
And we use iPads right now for our point of sale system, and even though I'm all Android for everything else, we use iPads for Square because Square just works better on it, although Square's new all-in-one system is based on Android. So I had a meeting, got to go into like the back office with the business development guy at the Apple store, and this was before the iPhone 10 was actually like available to see, so we got to see one like a couple days before they were like readily available. You know what I mean? It was actually pretty cool, and they were really cool. They really do a great job taking care of their customers, but I didn't realize how cheap a lot of their products were getting, because what they're doing is they're keeping around these older products. You can get an iPad now as cheap as $299. Mm-hmm. It's not an iPad Pro, but it's a 9.7 inch full sized iPad. Still a pretty amazing tablet, but they have not done a good job of letting people know this. People still think of Apple products as crazy expensive because Apple wants you buying the newest one, but their strategy, I think, to compete with the fact that Android has... So with Android, you're loyal because you know that if next year I can't afford a better phone and my phone breaks, I can get a cheap Android phone. And it's still going to be a decent phone. With Apple, it's always been, yeah, they'll take care of me, but at a price. It's expensive, and you don't have an entry level. They tried the 5C. That didn't work, but the fact that they're keeping basically the same phones around, mm-hmm. and making them cheaper and cheaper, I think is going to... I don't know when they're going to start marketing that, but or if they're just hoping people figure it out. But I have to admit, it really changed how I viewed Apple, because I've always disliked the fact that they force you. It's always the new expensive thing, and it's like, you guys have these products that are still good, but you don't let, since they manufacture everything. It always felt like you had to do the crazy expensive option, and now they are offering more of an Android-like experience where you can get a cheaper phone or a cheaper tablet that can't do quite as much as the new one, but it'll get you by. It'll do quite a lot of things, because for a lot of people who use an iPad, it's just a media consumption tool, and $700 is insane for mm-hmm. media consumption. But $300, and it can play games, and it looks great and all that. The only thing it's really missing is, the Apple, the Pencil doesn't work with it. So, which they could probably make it work with it. I'm guessing they're just purposely holding back. But my point is, they are starting to have a bit more of a robust line of products that are more affordable. I just don't feel like people know it. I don't know. Do you agree with me? Do you think people aren't aware of that? For the most part?
I think for the most part, most people are not aware, and the ones that do get aware, I think there's still just it's one of the prime reasons that Apple sells products is because if someone has a $300 option and a $600 option, and there's a visible way to tell that this is the more expensive one, then they'll buy it. I mean, the Apple Watch, the version 3 looks just like the version 2, except it has a red dot on the little turning piece, and so that's a way to show people I've got the version 3.
Right.
I think Apple's still very much a social status type brand, and so there is that where it's like, yeah, I could probably get the same functionality for $300, but I'm able to tell people I spent $600 for this tablet, and that's just the audience.
Well, and that's great but I think they can get both audiences. You know what I mean? Because as Google's now upping their game, and now you have, I mean, this is the Pixel 2 XL. This thing is gorgeous. I mean, it's an amazing phone. So it's like I can get this, but I can also go out and I can get a Moto X or something, for a little over $300, and that's an incredible device. So the fact that Apple now has something similar, but maybe within that ecosystem, you don't want to be an Apple user who doesn't have the newest thing because it's still a cool person group where you got to have I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting, and I think if they do it right, that they will eventually have a really good ability to compete with the fact that Android offers such cheap devices. And as you said, have they fully admitted that the notch was completely unnecessary, or is that just kind of generally assumed?
I don't know, but because
I was under the assumption that it was not necessary. They decided to do it because by losing the button, they lost any marketing. Like it's just a slab, which it already exists. So they did the notch on purpose, and now you're already seeing Android knockoff phones that are these are companies that are already creating totally bezel-less phones, and they're adding notches on purpose that look like Apple's notch, and then they're putting up these ridiculous screens where it's comparing like our notch is this much smaller. That it's funny. It must work. There must be like a large group of people that are really, really stupid that buy into this stuff. Otherwise, these companies wouldn't do it.
Yep.
But
well, it's funny you mention that because that brings me to Android P.
Okay, so apparently this is the surprise info that I'm not aware of.
So Android P, this is one of the interesting story I've been hearing about for a little while. Android P is it's the new update that's going to be coming out for Android. You can currently officially download it legally and everything if you own either a Pixel phone or a Pixel 2 phone. Obviously, I would not recommend downloading a developer update on a
real quick
day-to-day phone.
They cut off, this is going to piss off a lot of people, they cut off Nexus devices, and I am almost certain they cut off the Pixel C from this, which is not that old of a tablet and was not cheap. People spent that was Apple priced when it came out a couple years ago. It was like $600-700 plus $150 for the little the magnetic stand, and they have already cut it off. It is not getting at least the developer preview for Android P.
Well, that's annoying.
Is my understanding. So I don't know, man. It's getting kind of crazy here in Google Town.
Yeah, Google Town is becoming Apple Town.
It kind of is.
But yeah, there's ways to download it. Obviously, if you have a Samsung device, it's just a little bit more of a workaround.
It's not a straight up.
It's not coming officially from Google, but it's doable. But really, the update, actually, the from everything, I haven't downloaded it yet because I only have one Pixel, and that's my day-to-day phone. And I've learned my lesson in the past. Downloading developer updates on your day-to-day, generally not a good idea if you're trying to get stuff done on your phone because it crashes a lot. But a lot of rounded corners, everything. It really does. Like when I look at the screenshots that people have taken, it's looking more and more like an Apple device with the way that they're designing it. It's kind of a lot of these tech journalists are calling it material design, 2.0. So it's sticking with Google's material design, but it definitely feels a little bit more Apple-like. But the most laughable feature in my mind is that this is an official part of Android P, there is an option to turn on a notch within your phone. You can just add it onto your screen. You can choose if you want a wide notch, if you want a small notch, but it just adds a black spot to the top of your phone if you want it to look more like an iPhone. And that's what's interesting, is that this is coming.
You're talking about, it's literally a digital notch.
This is baked into Android P. It is a digital.
I'm sure this isn't a
notch.
joke.
Not a joke.
But this is in the developer preview, right?
You sure?
So this is just...
So it might not make it.
So this isn't going to... Yeah, I doubt this is something that's going to be for the consumer to use to add the notch. This is so the developers can develop around their notches. Don't you think?
Yeah, but there's... I mean, yeah, there's...
Because didn't the Essential phone come out before?
Has the notch.
Essential phone was the original notch, wasn't it? Didn't they beat Apple?
I don't know if they did.
I'm almost certain they did. And Andy Rubin, I hope I got his name right, who is like the godfather or one of the godfathers of the Android operating system, is the dude behind the Essential phone. And the Essential phone's notch is just a little camera. It's just like a little rounded notch. So I'm almost 100% certain they came out first. So I think it's a developer option.
I'm sure, but I think like, it sounds like a lot of people like it. Like they like the... So I would assume that obviously it's your Android, your Pixel phone or Samsung S9 when it comes with Android P. I'm sure it'll ship like normal without a notch. But why not leave the option for someone to add the notch in there? Because that, like you said, there are people who, oh, that's cool, I can add a notch. Because as much as everyone laughed at the notch, Apple somehow made it a cool thing.
Oh, yeah. Here's the one thing you can't say about...
The notch looks better than...
You cannot say Apple is not good at marketing. Like,
they're very good.
You can be the biggest Apple hater on the planet. Their marketing is friggin' phenomenal. That HomePod looks like the most ridiculous product on the planet when you consider price, the fact that Siri sucks compared to Google Assistant, the fact that it doesn't, in my understanding is it doesn't even have basic Bluetooth connectivity from non-Apple devices. So this is like the ultimate, if you're not already in our system, you can't do anything with this thing. They're really doubling down.
Yep.
But have you seen that new commercial
of the HomePod?
Yeah, the HomePod where it like, the woman walks into her apartment and it transforms.
Oh yeah.
It's an amazing commercial. Like it makes every Amazon Echo and every Google Home commercial I've ever seen look like amateur hour. Look like I made it using my limited. I mean, they're not obviously that bad, but like their marketing is amazing. It always is. So I knew weirdly, I knew that notch would be.
I think the notch is here to stay. Here's what I want to know. If you're watching this on YouTube and you've made it this far in the podcast, let me know in the comments section below what you think of the notch. If you had an Android phone and you had the option to turn this notch effect on, would you do it? And if you're listening, go ahead and either find the video on YouTube, Tech Audit TV. It'll probably be one of the latest videos. Or just write in at techauditTV@gmail.com. I'm curious to hear.
I want to know, would you do it and why would you do it?
Yes, would you and why? Like
as a joke, or do you want to be an ironic hipster, or do you actually want to have the notch look?
Yeah, we'll see.
That is a pretty crazy option, though.
That is, yeah. So I didn't think about the developer part. That makes more sense. At the same time, I don't see why they wouldn't just leave it in there.
I genuinely hope they take it out because I think that looks...
It doesn't look good for Google.
It's the type of thing that if you're Google, don't do it. People are going to make apps that will allow you to do that.
Yep.
Anyway, so it's like they can have their cake and eat it too. They can say no notch. Developers can do it if they want, and then if you want it, somebody's going to make an app that lets you do that, and then they don't have to be the ones that are making that one of their features, or at least bury it really, really deep. I don't know.
Yeah,
that seems pretty silly.
I'll be interested to see if it makes it past the developer
preview. I'll read about this and see if I change my mind, but It
Yeah,
seems
you have to look
silly.
at the photos, and you're like, wow, that notch is beautiful.
The rabbit ears.
Speaking of beautiful devices, we'll end with a story. You have a story time here with a device that you didn't realize how significant it was in your life.
These are, for those watching, my Google Pixel Buds, which I bought right when they came out because I wanted to try them. I wanted to try the translate feature was a big part, and it's actually really cool. These things get bagged on a lot. You're starting to see a lot more reviews on YouTube where people are coming around and saying, I don't understand why these get bagged on so much. Because I really liked them right off the bat. They you know, the cord gets made fun of for like it being weird to use, but these are not hard. The box is it's very fluid. You can see how quickly and easy it is to use. Boom. You know, lets you know the charging right off the bat where you're at. You can charge like an hour of use in a few minutes. The case doesn't take very long to charge. It holds 3 full charges within the case for your headphones. I feel like the headphones last longer than even Google advertised, 5-6 hours. But the story is I lost these. There is a video that I'll post to the Stone Shiba's Instagram page. I put it on just my personal one. But I'm wearing them, and I shot a quick video here inside the studio, and then I lost them, and I didn't have them for a week, and I called everywhere, and I gotta say, I went from liking them to, like, my life was ruined for days without them. Suddenly I had headphones in, and just like I always did, and I found myself with my phone flying off my desk as I'm, as the cord pulls. I did not realize how convenient Bluetooth headphones are. And as I started looking into replacing them, the thing I realized was when you got down into like, $80 or whatever, the aesthetics changed dramatically. Like no longer nearly as good looking. I think these are it's not just the fanboy in me. Like, I think this is a gorgeous product. The fabric case is awesome. I think the headphones themselves are cool. I also think the new Apple AirPods are cool. Like, everyone I know that I have never used them, but I think they're a cool product too. But these you can swipe forward to skip. You can swipe back for volume. It's got like 5 different features of things it does, and they're amazing. But anyway, I found them like a week later. Somehow they ended up in my laundry. Luckily I didn't wash them.
Are they waterproof?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't think they are. But anyway, the point is, I myself, even though I own them, I kind of considered them an overpriced novelty type headset that I just wanted to test out. But when I didn't have them, I'm not kidding, I was so sad. My life was so depressing. I couldn't listen to podcasts as easily. They hang around your neck so easily. They're just great. And there's a lot. I think anything there is to hate about them is going to be stuff that is in your individual taste. I'm not the type that thinks any product is just good or bad. It's always kind of like your taste. But the way they fit, using they have this cool little rope. If you've never seen or used these, there's a ton of videos on YouTube, but you use this little rope thing to go up and down, and it fits inside your ear. You can run as hard as you want. You can be on a treadmill bouncing up and down. These do not come out. I also like that the sound is great. It's not like you're putting on a Bose headset. It's not, these are not audiophile headphones, but the sound is good. They feel great. They're really light when they're in, and you can also hear everything around you. That's going to be a taste thing. If you want sound blocking headphones that just block out everything, these are not your choice. I would not consider buying these.
Which I don't like.
See, I don't like them either.
Especially if I'm running. Like, I still want to be aware if I hear a car coming or something like that. I don't want to be completely isolated.
And these are fantastic for that because they kind of sit in like they don't go into your ear canals. You still have great sound, but you can
seems
hear
like they
everything
fit
around
very
you.
similar to Apple's earbuds.
Yeah.
Not like the ones that go directly in with the soft cushion.
And I actually sent Clint a text. Who Clint, we'll link to some of our videos. We're doing movie reviews with Clint because the guy has got the craziest movie brain on the planet. He can name every actor from like the 40s and 50s. We worked at Blockbuster together, but I texted him before this because I wanted to know from somebody I really know who would give me a real opinion, because he's used both Android. He's not like a hardcore one way or the other. I said, give me your honest opinion. Do those stay in when you're running? And he says they stay in great. So apparently those are also a great option. But as far as like good looking headphones, I know these seem overpriced, and I would have agreed with that before until I started looking at all of the other options and realizing that you're definitely losing the aesthetic. You have the ability to control everything from swipes from the ear pod itself, and you don't have to have like something hanging down here. There's other great headphones out there. I'm not bagging on them, and I'm not an expert by any means, but man, that's the story. The story is I was genuinely depressed for quite a few days because I knew I couldn't afford to buy another pair. Certainly couldn't justify it even if I could afford it. But when I got them back, holy crap, I realized after going back to using regular headphones for a week, I realized how much I loved these. So that's my story.
There we go.
You don't know what you got till it's gone.
That's true. That is true.
Somebody in the 80s said that. Cinderella, I think, the band. Something like, maybe it was Tesla. There's a first person to name that gets
a digital high five.
I'll like your comment.
There we go.
And say how awesome you are.
So those are the Google earbuds. No.
Pixel Buds.
Pixel Buds. There we go. I'll link to those if you're watching this on YouTube. You want to check those out on Amazon.
They come in black, white, and blue, and the blue ones are awesome. But dude, it's one of those reviews where watch a lot of reviews. Watch the hater reviews on them, but watch some of the newer ones because a lot of the haters have even come around on them and have posted like follow-up reviews where they're like, I kind of hated on these in the beginning, but I've changed my opinion. They are really awesome. So,
well, now I'm more likely to check it out. Well, very cool. Google Pixel. I keep saying Google Pixel. I guess they are the Google Pixel Buds, but yeah, I'll link to those below, and any other products that we've mentioned. Obviously, do my best to link to those so you can get some quick access to those. But that is our episode for today. So thank you for listening to the show. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching the show. If you're listening on iTunes to this podcast, or you want to listen to it again, go ahead and check out the show on iTunes. Just take 30 seconds and leave a positive review for the show. It really helps out a lot on iTunes, and it will mean a lot to us. And if this is your first interaction with Tech Audit TV, especially if you're listening, check out the main show on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com and search Tech Audit TV. I'd also love to hear your feedback on the show, so you can comment on the YouTube video, or you can shoot us an email at techauditTV@gmail.com, or of course you can check us out on social media. So until next time, this is Brandon Hassler and Matt Hassler signing out.
Have a good one, guys.